Hi everyone. Okay, now we're going to talk about workshopping, which is what I'm trying to kind of start with you guys in the message boards by having you guys post your essays within the message boards instead of sending them to me. And it's not just because I am trying to be lazy and not grade papers. Actually, there's a method to my madness called workshopping, and it's something that I know I have benefited from. Within my experience with undergrad and grad school. And I think it's an important skill when you get into school. You're going to be expected, when you get into college at least, you're going to be expected to do this. And especially in your English classes, and you need to kind of practice that here. And this is the place to do that. So this is a safe place to kind of just work that out and figure out how to do this effectively and peacefully, because workshopping is hard. And it gives you a really thick skin about your writing, which I think is important and necessary. And because it is necessary, I want you guys to do that here. Now, you guys have been doing a great job with it. The papers that you've been posting within the discussion board for the workshopping, they've been beautiful papers. What I will say is there's a lot of praise, and that is wonderful. And I love praise. I love that you're being so positive with each other. That's fantastic. But here's the thing about it. If we don't hear critique, we cannot grow. What it's doing is taking your writing outside of the grading system, outside of the rubrics, and seeing how someone else feels about your writing, and kind of giving you suggestions for growth and things you can work on, or even just with other students saying, hey, I didn't get this out of that, I don't understand where you're going, is so important, because you need to make sure to be able to just appeal to a larger group of people other than just me. And I'm going to tell you, when you get in for your AP test and you're writing your essay, understand the person reading your test, the grader, is not going to know who you are. They're not even going to have your name. They're going to be heavy-handed. And so when you're reading each other's work, I don't necessarily want you to be heavy-handed, but what I wanted you to be is honest. Okay? If you see something that needs to be developed deeper, say so. Okay, so that helps the writer. It's just like someone walking around with spinach in their teeth. Like, how embarrassing would it be for you to get home after a long day of work and realize that you've had like spinach from your omelet in your tooth all day and no one told you, right? So that's the way I view workshopping. It's actually kind to help people, kind to say, hey, this isn't working for me, maybe try this. Workshopping does is help you to accept constructive criticism, which is extremely important, because in the world you are not shielded from constructive criticism. And that's the thing, it's not just baseless criticism, it's constructive. So constructive criticism is there to help you. Okay, and it'll help you grow and change and learn. And if you can read through somebody else's work and offer them constructive criticism, you're actually learning as well. So both of you, both the person that you are giving criticism for and yourself, you're both digging deep into the topics that we're talking about. And so you're both actually learning. So you're both growing in your writing abilities, because the honest to God truth is, if you can tell somebody where they went wrong in their paper, you're not going to make that same mistake yourself. And that is so beneficial. And I think sometimes I just notice with myself, when a professor grades my paper, I'm like, yeah, okay. But when I'm in a workshop, I really take to heart what the other workshoppers are saying about my work, and it kind of sticks in my head more, if that makes sense. Okay, so also helping others. So helping others to improve their work, that's the name of the game. That's wonderful. Always try to help people, even if you have to tell people hard truths. Sometimes the right thing to do is the hard thing. And in this case, in workshopping, if a sentence is not working, or if someone doesn't have a good thesis statement and you notice that, tell them that, because that will help them in the future. If you don't tell them that, then they may think that, well, perfect, I figured out the thesis statement, and later on down the road it may not work out for them. So you need to be honest. Also, with workshopping, you discover your strengths because let's be honest, like you guys love giving compliments in the workshops. That's fantastic. Keep it up. I mean, accept the compliments and give them compliments, and compliments are motivating, which is huge. So don't come in with only negatives. Come in with some positives. Don't come in with only positives. Come in with some things that you'd like the person to change. So what I always call it, and you guys will laugh, is slam sandwich. Okay, so what I would suggest you do is a slam sandwich. You give a compliment, you give something that you think the other writer should work on harder or reword or look at in a deeper way, and then you give something motivating. Okay, so you come in and say, I really like how you did this. I really like this. However, your thesis statement is a little weak and it's not necessarily a hook. Maybe this is what I would do with it. It's the same point. I'm just changing some words around. And oh, keep it up. You're doing a great job. This is a much better paper than last time. See, that's a slam sandwich. Okay. So the goal is in this and doing workshops is that all of you feel heard. Okay, so you're writing this not just for me, but for the entire class. All of you feel heard. Doing it this way can feel motivating because you have everybody else saying, hey, great job on that. And that's kind of motivating. You know what I mean? And you're kind of wrestling with these ideas, especially with the literature. You're wrestling with ideas. And remember what we discussed about earlier, different people see different things in literature. And so if someone realizes something in the reading that you did not realize, say so. And that is motivating because it makes us all feel like, wow, I actually saw something that no one else saw. So now, just because someone gives you feedback, just because someone says, hey, I don't like how your thesis statement ties in with this, or this, that doesn't mean that that person is always correct. So this is what I would do. Anytime there is something where someone says something that needs to be changed grammatically, change that, hands down. That needs to be changed. If that's easy, right? But if you disagree with what they're pointing out in the workshop about your writing, then ignore it. However, unless everybody's coming in and saying the same thing about your writing. If everybody's coming in and saying the same thing, take a hard look at it and see if that is something you need to change. If one person's saying it, play around with it, change your wording around a bit and see if it works for you. It may not work for you. Not everybody's going to be right. In fact, I would suggest you not take every single piece of criticism. Okay? You still need to stay true to your paper. Take the things that resonate with you. Okay? All right, so that's what I want to see in these message boards. So this week you're not having a paper per se, so it's not a full-on workshop. But you are kind of choosing your essay, and you're going to have to choose quotes from A Raisin in the Sun and then discuss how that is evidence for your thesis statement. Okay, and so just practice. This is not with writing, but practice. Maybe you could go in and say, hey, you're using this, and this quote. Maybe this quote's better for you. Try that. So we're going to try that. And then next week we'll get into full-on workshop again. And I'm going to really kind of ask you guys to really say things that you might change in your writing and in the person's writing that you are reading. Okay? All right. So I know it's really hard. No one wants to say anything negative. Really, I get it. But it's just like spinach in your tooth. Like, dude, tell the person. Okay? All right. And also, one more thing before I go. I'm sorry. Nobody's writing is perfect the first time around. No first draft is ever perfect. Ever. Nobody's. So there's always going to be something, and don't feel bad about that. That's why we're doing this process, to help each of you. Okay? All right.